The true nature of women. Don't be fooled by a woman's appearance. A woman's beauty sometimes holds a bewitching power that can captivate people's hearts. Dignified eyes and exquisite features? Just like the sweet fragrance emitted by a rose, it enchants men. However, beneath that alluring mask, her true nature may hold a face like a demon, tainted with desire and obsession. This is the story of one such woman. Her name is Maya. She was renowned as the most beautiful woman living in the city of Rajagra. However, in stark contrast to her pure appearance, her inner self was polluted like a dark, murky swamp. What kind of life will Maya lead? A woman's beauty and true nature. The curtain now rises on the ominous story woven by these elements. In the city of Rajagra, there lived a beautiful girl named Maya. With black hair, white skin, and dignified eyes, she was a beauty acknowledged by all in the castle.
Hey, did you know that Maya was walking through the market?
Yes, she is truly beautiful. There aren't many girls as lovely as her.
Wherever she went, the gossip about Maya never ceased. People praised her beauty and believed without a doubt that she was a girl with a pure heart. However, that was merely her public face. No one had any way of knowing Maya's true feelings inside.
I have no interest in this poor life. Someday I'll marry a rich man and show everyone I can live elegantly in a luxurious mansion.
Maya understood well that her own beauty held the power to captivate men. Even while giving charming smiles, she knew the art of seeing through to the contents of the other person's wallet in her heart.
Young lady, how about these fruits? We have delicious seasonal offerings.
The stall vendor spoke to her smilingly, but Maya clicked her tongue in her mind.
I'm not interested in such cheap things. Only more expensive things are suitable for me.
While thinking that in her heart,
I already bought some elsewhere. Sorry, I'm good.
replying in a refined tone, Maya quickly left the place. Beneath her pure appearance, her heart was already coated with desire and vanity.
The fruit didn't sell today either. I can't support my wife and kids with this business.
The merchant's lament stabbed into Maya's back. But she kept walking without looking back.
I don't care about the complaints of the poor. I'll definitely become rich, you'll see.
Narrowing her eyes clouded with greed, Maya headed towards the street lined with luxurious mansions. There stood the residence of the wealthy man her heart was drawn to. The people living in Rajagra relied on Maya's reputation as a pure and compassionate person and revered her. However, what they saw was merely a mask, and no one noticed the flames of earthly desires swirling beneath it. Maya nurtured her own desires within the illusion of her beautiful appearance. As dusk approached, one corner of Rajagra began to show a different face from during the day. It was a place known as the Pleasure District, where men seeking alcohol and women waiting for customers intermingled.
Looks like we'll make money tonight. There's already a line forming in front of the store. Hey, everyone's flocking for booze and women.
A large crowd had formed on the street, and the light from the lamps illuminated the area. The lively laughter and enticing voices of the women intermingled, and a unique clamor enveloped the town. Amidst all that, there was the figure of a particularly beautiful girl. Dressed in stylish clothes, she walked forward gracefully. The men passing by stopped in their tracks and gazed at her admiringly.
Isn't that Maya? Her beauty lives up to the rumors. She's a beauty unfit for the Pleasure District, isn't she?
Indeed, the beautiful woman walking through the Pleasure District was none other than Maya herself. But no one knew the reason why she had come to such a place.
I have no interest in such lewd men. What I'm seeking is strictly a rich husband.
In Maya's mind floated the various luxurious accessories she wished to wear someday. Golden bracelets, silver necklaces, a crown adorned with jewels. She wouldn't be picky about the means to obtain such expensive items.
Oh my, what a happy coincidence to meet in a place like this.
Suddenly, a silky voice rang out. Turning around, an equally beautiful girl stood there. It was Trishna, a well-known courtesan in the pleasure district.
Trishna, what are you doing in a place like this?
I have a customer tonight, so I came here for a bit of work.
Trishna said proudly, pointing to the building behind her. The sign of a high-class restaurant caught the eye. It was known as the #1 social spot where the wealthiest people in Rajagra gathered.
Well, that sounds tough. I bet dealing with rich people requires a lot of care, right?
No, that's what makes it fun. Making the customers happy is my mission after all.
Maya inwardly despised Trishna, who said that with a fake smile.
You're nothing more than a plaything. I'm the one who will grasp true happiness.
With a refined smile, Maya walked away gracefully. Seeing Trishna off, she headed towards the building next door. Maya's intended prey should have been waiting there. Maya's destination was a mansion quite close to the high-class restaurant. She watched for the right time as the night's curtain fell and quietly went around to the back door.
I've been waiting for you, Lady Maya.
The shrewd headmaid welcomed her with an ingratiating smile. Maya advanced inside without even making a gesture to respond to it.
Has Lord Bandaka arrived?
Yes, he seems to already be waiting.
Bandaka. That was the name of a man known as one of the wealthiest in Rajagra. A merchant who had amassed a vast fortune, his luxurious lifestyle was the envy of all.
Tonight, for sure, I'll make that man fall for me.
Maya's eyes shone like a beast targeting its prey. Eventually, the group arrived at a private room in the back, and the heavy door opened silently. In the center of the room was a luxurious bed, and on top of it waited a man with a magnanimous smile.
I'm overjoyed and deeply honored by your visit. Lady Maya.
Bandaka spoke in a great mood. But Maya was inwardly amazed.
There's no way I would open my heart to such a foolish man.
While outwardly playing the part of a perfect lady, Maya continued her conversation with Bandaka. She skillfully interwove words of praise, winning the man's favor.
My Lord Bandaka, what a wonderful person you are.
No, I don't hold a candle to your beauty, Lady Maya.
Devoting herself to the role of listener, occasionally showing a heart-piercing smile, Maya's every single gesture melted away the man's reason.
It's truly an honor to be praised by someone like me.
Bandaka was over the moon with false words of praise.
Foolish man. Men are all like this.
While inwardly mocking the man, Maya twisted her body lithely. Her sensual gestures ignited Bandaka's desire.
Ah, Lady Maya, you're as beautiful as a goddess.
A self-forgetting Bandaka reached out his hand to Maya. But at that moment, he suddenly lost his balance and tumbled off the bed.
Eek! Are you all right, Lord Bandaka?
Maya rushed over with a surprised look and gazed up at the man as if incidentally. At that innocent expression, Bandaka's cooling lust flared up again.
No, I'm fine. More importantly,
Bandaka, sitting back on the bed, put his arm around Maya's shoulder. But Maya's heart was already completely painted over with desire.
He's finally fallen. Now your money is mine.
While playing the part of an innocent maiden, Maya slowly brought her lips close to Bandaka. Exchanging deep kisses that turned the man to mush, numerous pieces of jewelry floated in her mind. Having no way to know the true nature hidden beneath the mask, Bandaka embraced Maya in self-abandonment. As the clamor of the pleasure district receded, the two's tryst deepened into the night.
Lord Bandaka, how about something like this?
What Maya held out was a golden necklace with small ornaments.
oh, what a magnificent piece. It's the highest honor to suit Lady Maya's eye.
Bandaka raised a voice of delight. He believed without doubt that giving such an expensive gift was proof of his affection for her. But Maya's heart was filled with desire and calculation.
Something like this is a piece of cake. You'll have to buy me more gorgeous jewels.
While thinking that,
I'm so happy you're pleased. But please don't be satisfied with such a cheap item.
Bandaka nodded in self-abandonment to Maya, who spun her words while looking up at him.
Of course. I want to offer Lady Maya all the treasures in the world.
Listening to his ecstatic words, Maya smiled to herself.
I know he's all talk anyway. If he really intends to devote himself to me, he'll have to show it with actions.
Yes, what mattered to Maya wasn't how much the other person was into her. The only issue was how much wealth they would pour onto her.
Oh, that reminds me.
Bandaka suddenly opened his mouth.
Tomorrow night I'm holding a banquet at my mansion. Please do come by all means, Lady Maya.
That was yet another social event where the wealthy of Rajagara gathered.
My, it's an honor to be invited. I'll definitely attend.
In Maya's mind, as she put on an ingratiating smile, floated the next scheme for targeting her precious prey.
Alms, alms.
An emaciated beggar man weakly stretched out his hand. Although passers-by looked at the man with pitying eyes, hardly anyone extended a hand of charity. Maya looked down on the man's figure with cold eyes.
I have no interest in a bean sprout of a man who can't earn money on his own.
Fawning over the rich, thoroughly despising the poor. That was Maya's way of getting ahead in life.
Miss, please, some alms.
The man approached right in front of her and uttered words of entreaty.
Get lost, you filthy beggar.
But Maya said coldly and pushed the man away. Paying no heed to the man who screamed as he was slammed to the ground, she quickly walked away.
I don't have time to bother with such a filthy wretch. I have an important banquet to prepare for, after all.
Maya's heart, crazed with desire for wealth, had already lost any sense of compassion. The only thing that mattered to her was how to get her hands on a large sum of money. She was prepared to use any despicable means to achieve that end. Maya quickly forgot the sensation of pushing away the beggar man. Her head was filled with schemes to trap her next prey.
Now, I wonder what kind of rich people will come to tomorrow's banquet.
With a broad smile, Maya advanced her steps towards the luxurious mansion. And the next evening, a magnificent banquet was being held lively at the Bandaka residence. The wealthy of Rajagara gathered under one roof, enjoying fine wine and food. At the center of it all, Maya blossomed in her social interactions while scattering refined smiles.
My, what a magnificent residence this is. I've never seen such a splendid palace.
With exaggerated sighs, Maya praised the mansion's interior.
I'm deeply honored by your praise. I rather hope that we were able to prepare a place befitting Lady Maya's beauty.
Bandaka answered haughtily. For him, showing his affection for Maya was the greatest pleasure. But even hearing that, Maya's heart remained cold.
I know he's just putting on airs anyway. This level of thing can't satisfy my desires.
Paying no heed to the wealthy men intoxicated with fine wine, Maya's eyes were always searching for prey. And her gaze stopped on a merchant wearing particularly luxurious ornaments.
Lord Bandaka, who is that gentleman?
Maya asked in a whisper. She didn't fail to notice a shadow of jealousy cross Bandaka's face.
Oh, that man is a merchant named Dhananjaya. He's said to be the wealthiest man in Rajagara, having made his fortune in the jewel trade.
Upon hearing that, Maya's eyes shone like a beast that had found its prey.
Foo-foo, new prey. Bandaka's wallet will be running out soon, so I need to secure the next one now.
While thinking that,
wow, what a magnificent person he must be. I simply must greet him.
with an innocent smile like a little girl's, Maya gracefully approached Dhananjaya. She brushed off Bandaka's reaching hand and displayed her coquetry towards her new prey.
Nice to meet you, Lord Dhananjaya. I am Maya.
Ah, you're the renowned Lady Maya. So beautiful.
To the thoroughly captivated Dhananjaya, Maya threw sweet words. While turning the man to mush with her practiced skill, she let out sighs of admiration at his jewelry-adorned arms.
My, what beautiful bracelets. As expected of your power, Lord Dhananjaya.
But Maya's heart was already captivated by the glitter of gold.
I want those. I should have the right to wear those too.
With a smile, Maya continued her coquetry towards Dhananjaya. By deepening her connection with him, she schemed to obtain a luxurious life. Bandaka, on the other hand, was driven mad with jealousy upon witnessing Maya's behavior.
Lady Maya, do you not care about me at all?
Maya glanced at Bandaka, who was on the verge of tears with cold eyes.
I think you're a wonderful person, Lord Bandaka. But I have my own social circles.
Those heartless words tore Bandaka's heart to shreds. But Maya had no time to grieve. Her head was already filled with the various jewels she would have Dhananjaya tribute to her. And so Maya spent her days toying with one wealthy man after another. While repeating her flattery and deception, her thirst for wealth and power grew. One day, as Maya was walking through the market, she was suddenly called out to,
"You're Miss Maya, aren't you? Thank you for making a donation to my monastery this time."
The owner of the voice was a monk with a calm demeanor. He lowered his head to Maya with a smile.
What are you talking about? There's no way I would make a donation.
Maya pondered inwardly, but put on a smile so as not to be found out.
No, I'm glad if I was of help. Your monastery has many followers, doesn't it?
Thanks to you all. With the kindness of our devoted patrons, we are somehow able to continue our ascetic practices. Above all, I am deeply indebted to Lord Bandaka's donations.
Hearing that, Maya realized the situation.
I see. So Bandaka made a donation to this monk's monastery. And he boasted of his own virtue while dropping my name, huh?
The figure of Bandaka, who pretended to be a devout merchant while not forgetting to appeal to Maya, came to mind. But Maya was inwardly amazed.
As explained in the sutras, it is important to have a heart of compassion. I believe that people like Lord Bandaka truly embody the teachings of the Buddha.
Maya almost choked on the monk's gently spoken words.
Compassion only in words is meaningless. Even I don't have a shred of real compassion in my heart.
But she couldn't reveal her true nature here.
Your holy words pierce my heart. I too hope to be of some small help to the monastery.
That is most appreciated. Please do visit the monastery sometime. We have gatherings for lay followers.
Carried along by the flow of conversation, Maya nodded to the monk's invitation. Although she wasn't considering making any donations at all in her heart, she was good at playing the part of a devout woman on the surface. A few days later, Maya visited the monastery as promised. Lay followers gathered in the precincts, engaged in lively discussions.
Thank you all for gathering here. Today we have the special honor of hearing from Lady Maya.
At the monk's introduction, Maya bowed elegantly.
It is an honor to be invited. If someone like me will do, I will share a few words.
Saying that, Maya smiled brightly. But inside her heart, a sneer spread.
As if they would make any significant offerings, yet they put on such airs. What could these people possibly understand about me?
Maya dutifully listened to the Dharma talk while inwardly mocking the lay followers. Looking down on those beneath her as far as it would go was the Maya way.
Lady Maya, if you don't mind, please share your thoughts on encountering the Buddha's teachings.
Yes, listening to your holy words, I felt saved. I was ashamed of my greedy self and learned the value of having a compassionate heart.
The lay followers let out sighs of admiration at Maya's tear-filled words.
What an admirable person. We must follow Lady Maya's example.
Maya laughed inwardly at the whispers she heard.
What could these fools possibly understand about me? Compassion and whatnot? In the end, it's just a means to put on airs.
While smiling at the fawning lay followers, the coldness in Maya's eyes grew. She was prepared to engage in any hypocrisy for the sake of her own desires. And so Maya's days of pretending to be a devout woman continued. She frequented the monastery, listened to Dharma talks, and deepened her interactions with the lay followers. On the surface, she was a devoted follower and became a respected figure by all. But inside her heart, dark desires swirled.
Once I get bored of this, I'll quickly abandon this monastery. My goal is only to obtain a more luxurious life after all.
While professing her faith in Buddhism, Maya's eyes were clouded with worldly desires. The only thing that mattered to her was obtaining money and power. To that end, she would resort to any hypocrisy by any means.
Lady Maya, we are truly grateful for your intention to make offerings.
This is all thanks to your compassion.
The monastery's monk was bowing his head to Maya. It was acknowledged by all that her contributions supported the monastery's operations.
I'm glad if I was of help. I am merely guided by the Buddha's teachings after all.
While uttering humble words, Maya suddenly raised her face. Seeing the lay followers walking in the precincts, a sneer floated on her face.
I have no interest in such poor-looking people. What I want are richer men.
Even her words of gratitude to the monk were ultimately just superficial lies. Maya's heart was already consumed by the flames of desire. Preaching compassion in front of renunciants while coveting money and pleasure, day after day. Her mask grew increasingly distorted. To deepen her connection with Dhananjaya, Maya used all her coquettish charms. She believed without a doubt that getting in with the wealthy merchant was a shortcut to a luxurious life.
Lord Dhananjaya, when I'm with you, my heart feels so at peace.
Clothed in an elegant kimono, Maya spun sweet words.
I feel the same way. Meeting a lovely woman like you is my joy.
Captivated by Maya's beauty, Dhananjaya embraced her, forgetting himself.
Foolish man. So in love with me, you don't even realize you're being used.
Behind her sweet words, Maya hid a sneer. And so while toying with Dhananjaya, Maya had him tribute to her numerous luxurious pieces of jewelry.
Maya, I bought you a new necklace. The rubies are shining and should highlight your beauty.
Oh my, Lord Dhananjaya. For someone like me, such a wonderful thing.
Dhananjaya was over the moon seeing Maya's eyes shining happily before him. But Maya's heart was filled with desire and calculation.
Of course. I want all of you. Your wealth, your status. I want to monopolize everything.
Even her affection for Dhananjaya was ultimately just a means to satisfy her desires. Maya skillfully manipulated the man's heart while advancing things as she wished.
Hey, Lord Dhananjaya. I want to be with you forever.
One day, Maya appealed to Dhananjaya with a pained look.
Me too, Maya. Joining with you is my greatest wish.
With a face full of joy, Dhananjaya took Maya's hand. And so, the two made a promise of marriage. Maya's long-cherished dream of marrying into money was finally about to be realized. But on the wedding day, an incident occurred.
Maya, what is the meaning of this?
With an agitated look, Dhananjaya interrogated Maya.
What's the matter, Lord Dhananjaya? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I heard you were close with Bandika too. Were you deceiving me?
Having learned the truth, Dhananjaya trembled with anger. But Maya answered with a cool face.
Yes, that's right. I was in love with Lord Bandaka too.
How could this be? Were you just toying with my heart?
Learning the truth of the betrayal, Dhananjaya sank into the depths of despair. Maya, on the other hand, sneered in her heart.
Men are all like this in the end. They're just tools to satisfy my desires.
Maya's dream of marriage was shattered in an instant, and she was thrown into the midst of scandal. But she didn't seem the least bit fazed.
I am free. A free woman bound by no one.
Dhananjaya's anger and disappointment grew at the sight of Maya's loud laughter.
You're the worst, Maya. Don't ever show yourself in front of me again.
Leaving those parting words, Dhananjaya left. And so Maya had plucked away her own chance to obtain wealth and status. But her ambition would never disappear.
I have no lingering attachment to such a man. I'll just aim for an even bigger fish next.
Maya wore a smile distorted by desire. Her depravity knew no bounds. Maya's scandal quickly spread throughout Rajagriha.
I heard that Maya was toying with the merchant men.
She may look pure, but inside she's a lewd woman.
Maya amusedly ignored the rumors whispered here and there.
They're just jealous. What do they know about me?
Even slander against her became a means for Maya to satisfy her desires. The only things that mattered to her were wealth and pleasure. One such day, Maya ran into a monk she knew from the monastery.
It's been a while, Lady Maya.
You haven't been to the monastery lately, so I was wondering how you were doing.
Huh? Oh, I've been a bit busy.
Maya responded vaguely to the monk's question. She figured there was no longer any need to pretend to be devout.
So are the rumors true?
But at the monk's words, Maya's face stiffened.
Rumors? What are you talking about?
Well, that you were close with the merchant gentleman?
At the interrogative tone, Maya clicked her tongue inwardly.
Geez, what a nosy monk. This is why I hate renunciants.
While thinking that...
Ah, that's all lies. I just wanted to serve the monastery, that's all. It was misinterpreted.
The monk showed a look of bewilderment at Maya's blatant lies.
Is that so? But the content of the rumors is quite specific.
Isn't it you, Venerable, who has forgotten the compassionate heart taught in the sutras? I have sincere faith in my heart.
The monk could only remain silent in the face of Maya's brazenness. Unable to see through Maya's true nature, he had no choice but to believe her. And so Maya succeeded in continuing to deceive the people of the monastery. On the surface, she was a devoted follower, and everyone believed in her integrity. But desire squirmed in her heart.
I have no attachment to this monastery. Next, I'll get my hands on even more money.
Undaunted by scandal, Maya looked for new prey. The thirst for wealth and power was everything in her life. An invitation arrived for Maya. The sender was Babru, also known as a great wealthy man.
Oh, this looks interesting.
With the invitation in hand, Maya's eyes shone with evil.
A banquet hosted by Babru. It might be good to find new prey there.
Maya's heart danced with the premonition of a wicked woman. She promptly began preparing for the banquet. Invited to the luxurious mansion, Maya slipped into the clamor of the banquet.
My, what a wonderful mansion this is. I can feel Lord Babru's wealth and prestige.
With an ingratiating smile, Maya ingratiated herself with the noble ladies. Her goal was simply to get close to the wealthy men.
Hey Maya, you've been quite the topic of gossip lately, huh?
That's right. I've been hearing all sorts of rumors too.
Maya's bad reputation flew about here and there. But she herself laughed with a calm expression.
They're just jealous. What do they know about me?
With eyes coated in desire, Maya surveyed the banquet hall. There she spotted a certain man.
That gentleman is...
The one in front of her was none other than Babru himself. Clad in luxurious attire, he orchestrated the banquet with a dignified bearing.
Lord Babru, thank you for holding such a wonderful banquet tonight.
With an ingratiating smile, Maya approached Babru with an alluring gaze.
Ah, you're Maya, the beautiful princess I've heard rumors about. I specially invited you for tonight.
Babru smiled with satisfaction. His gaze lewdly licked over Maya's beautiful features.
Even this man is my captive. Looking at me with such desire-filled eyes.
While inwardly mocking the man, Maya took her seat at the banquet with supple movements.
It's an honor to be with you, Lord Babru. For someone like me, to even have a seat prepared.
No, inviting Princess Maya is my delight. Now drink to your heart's content.
While reveling in the luxurious banquet, Maya maintained her coquettish behavior towards Babru. To make wealth and status her own, she would stop at nothing. But just then, a voice suddenly rang out.
Lady Maya, I have something to discuss with you at the moment.
Turning around, there stood the very same monk. Amidst his handsome features, there was a hint of irritation he couldn't quite hide.
Oh my Venerable, what brings you here?
The monk cast a cold gaze at Maya, who smiled as if putting on an act.
Lady Maya, I have grave concerns about your conduct at the monastery.
Whatever do you mean? Isn't it rather out of place for you, Venerable, to appear at a banquet?
Lady Maya, do you intend to continue deceiving monks and acting against the way of man?
At the scathing sarcasm, Maya's face distorted. But the monk relentlessly pressed on.
You speak of faith, yet stop at nothing for the sake of wealth and desire.
That is a grave sin against the Buddha's teachings.
I have no ear for a monk's nonsense. I merely obtain what I desire.
The monk's voice trembled at Maya's brazen words.
As explained in the sutras, without a compassionate heart, you cannot be saved. Even now, you must cast aside your desires.
Shut up. Don't interfere with my way of life.
Maya pushed the monk away in anger. But that exposed her true nature.
What is the meaning of this? So Maya was that kind of woman.
Amidst the flying shouts and curses, Maya stood with a furious countenance. With her own misdeeds exposed, she could no longer keep up appearances.
Listen well, everyone. Do not be deceived by this woman. Maya's true nature is that of a wicked woman coated in desire.
At the monk's words, the venue fell into an uproar. Babru too pointed at Maya while shaking with anger.
You lowly woman, you deceived me, did you? Get out of this mansion at once.
I have no lingering attachment to a man like this. I merely aim higher.
With resentful voices at her back, Maya left the banquet hall. Her veneer had finally peeled away, and so Maya's misdeeds were exposed to the light of day. All the hypocrisy and deception for the sake of obtaining wealth and status. They were revealed one after another, and she was showered with intense condemnation from the people of Rajagraha. Yet not a hint of remorse could be seen.
The nonsense of people like this has nothing to do with me. This world is interesting because desire exists.
With an evil smile, Maya, burning with the flames of desire, plotted new misdeeds. Even amidst scandal, Maya's desire knew no bounds. Rather, each time she was aware of people's condemning gazes, her wicked heart swelled.
I'm a wicked woman. Don't be ridiculous. Obtaining what I desire is a natural right.
Laughing loudly, Maya never doubted her own righteousness. Amidst that, a young man approached Maya.
You're Miss Maya, aren't you? I've finally met you.
Oh my, do you have some business with me?
The young man respectfully bowed his head to the wary Maya.
I am Basapa. I've been searching for you for a long time.
What do you want? I don't think anything good will come from getting involved with me.
To the coldly rejecting Maya, Basapa earnestly appealed.
No, that's not true at all. I love you from the bottom of my heart.
At the sudden confession, Maya's eyes widened.
Is this guy an idiot? Falling for me is not the act of a sane person. I feel sorry for you, but I don't have any emotion like love. Desire is my only sustenance,
Maya said with a sneer. But Basapa did not give up.
That can't be true. Deep in your heart, surely there is a desire to seek someone to love.
Shut up! What do you think you know about me?
Maya pushed Basapa away in anger. But in that moment,
I'm terribly sorry.
the stumbling Basapa dropped something.
What is that?
Looking at her feet, Maya gasped. There lay prayer beads and a small Buddhist altar implement.
That's...
I apologize. Actually, I am in training to be a monk.
Basapa revealed with an apologetic look. He was a young renunciant diligently training at the monastery.
A mere monk making advances on a woman.
Maya made no attempt to hide her disdain. But Basapa answered with a gaze filled with conviction.
No, that's not it. I have always believed in the beauty of your heart.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Could it be that you are actually a kind and compassionate person? You just haven't realized it yet.
At his sincere words, Maya was momentarily at a loss for words.
What nonsense. I am a mass of desire.
As if to hide her confusion, Maya turned her back.
I'm disappointed in you. Don't ever come near me again.
Leaving cold words behind, she left the place. But Basapa's words were seared into Maya's mind and would not leave.
Me, a beautiful heart? Don't be ridiculous.
As if deceiving herself, Maya put even more effort into her misdeeds. She contrived all sorts of schemes in pursuit of wealth and pleasure. Then a certain piece of news reached Maya.
I hear the world-honored one is coming to Rajagra to preach the Dharma.
At the maid's words, Maya spat out.
It's probably just monk's nonsense. It has nothing to do with me.
But deep in her heart, she felt a faint tremor.
The world-honored one. I wonder what a saint versed in the truth of this world intends to say to me.
Before she knew it, Maya's feet were heading towards the Buddha's sermon. Perhaps she herself was beginning to feel doubts about her own actions. The sermon venue was enveloped in people's fervor. There were believers of all ages, trying to listen to the Buddha's words. Amidst them, Maya in her particularly elegant attire blended in.
I have no interest in such a crowd, so why did I come to a place like this?
While regretting inwardly, Maya was jostled by the crowd. And then, at that moment,
You are Maya, aren't you?
suddenly a voice called out from behind her. Turning around, a monk stood before Maya, with beautiful features and a dignified bearing that conveyed a sense of resolute will.
I am Ananda. By the world-honored one's command, I have come to receive you.
Maya instinctively tensed at the monk's calm words.
What business does the world-honored one have with me?
Rejoice. The world-honored one has declared that he wishes to specially preach the Dharma to you.
At the unexpected offer, Maya's heart stirred.
The world-honored one wants to meet me? I wonder what he intends to say.
With a mixture of wariness and curiosity, Maya advanced to the inner recesses of the Dharma assembly, led by Ananda. Eventually, she was guided before a particularly distinguished-looking monk.
Maya, you have come.
A calm voice spoke to Maya. Even with a large number of believers before him, the Buddha seemed to be sending his words to Maya alone.
World-honored one, what do you wish of me?
The Buddha turned a gaze filled with loving kindness towards Maya, who asked fearfully,
I perceive your suffering. I pity your heart, imprisoned by desire and having lost sight of the truth.
What nonsense. I am merely living as I please.
Maya uttered words of defiance. But the Buddha continued to gaze at her with sorrowful eyes.
No, you have become a slave to desire and are sinking yourself into the abyss of suffering. That is by no means true happiness.
I'm not seeking anything like happiness. As long as I can obtain what I want, that's enough.
As if to hide the pain swirling in the depths of her heart, Maya put on a brave front. Then the Buddha preached with a countenance full of compassion.
All people desire happiness, but if they err in their method, only suffering will arise. Restraining desire and cultivating a heart of compassion is the path to true peace.
The Buddha's words quietly resonated in Maya's heart. But she soon shook her head vigorously.
I don't need any sermons. I have no intention of changing my current way of life.
The Buddha lowered his eyes sorrowfully at Maya's cold words.
I will go to preach to you as many times as it takes. I believe the time will come when you awaken to the truth.
The Buddha continued to pour unchanging compassion onto the suffering Maya. But Maya's heart remained obstinately closed.
Your teachings are useless to me. Fulfilling my desires is the very joy of living.
Saying that, Maya left the place. There seemed not a hint of hesitation in her heart. And so Maya, rejecting the Buddha's teachings, forged ahead on her own path. Days of living as she pleased, to obtain wealth and power. But deep within her heart, a quiet change was beginning to sprout. The Buddha's gaze filled with loving kindness, and his gently admonishing words. They were seared into Maya's mind, gradually shaking her heart.
What is true happiness? Was what I've been doing right?
With feelings she could confide to no one, Maya continued walking alone. What kind of future awaited her? The fate of Maya, consumed by the flames of desire, was uncertain. But as long as the Buddha watched over her from afar, the light of hope would never disappear. Even as her heart wavered at the Buddha's teachings, Maya continued to walk her own path. The thirst for wealth and power was her ultimate joy, filling her heart.
I don't need the world-honored one's sermons. In this world, only those loyal to their desires can survive.
Muttering as if to encourage herself, Maya sought out new prey. Then one day a man approached Maya.
You are Lady Maya, aren't you? I am Chakra.
A man who had no way of knowing Maya, rare now amidst swirling scandals. Chakra bowed his head to Maya, who turned a wary gaze on him.
Actually, there is a scheme I would very much like you to participate in.
A scheme? Whatever do you mean?
Maya's eyes shone at the man's words.
So I can be involved in new misdeeds.
I am secretly planning to steal money and goods from a certain monastery. For that, I need your power.
At Chakra's whispering voice, Maya laughed mockingly.
You say such plausible things, but there's no reason for me to cross such a dangerous bridge.
No, I hear you are a master thief. You can even steal people's hearts, can't you? Surely you are perfect for this job?
Maya pondered Chakra's persistent pressure.
Certainly, if we steal the monastery's treasures, it'll be a huge payoff. But if we're found out, there will be terrible consequences. If you insist, I suppose I can help. But if we fail, I don't know you, okay?
Thank you, Lady Maya. We will surely succeed.
And so Maya resolved to engage in crime. But behind that, the Buddha's words crossed her mind.
True happiness, huh? Can I find happiness by being complicit in this theft?
As if to shake off her self-questioning thoughts, Maya immersed herself in the plan to infiltrate the monastery. Late at night, the two snuck into the monastery grounds. In the silence without a single sound, Maya searched for the whereabouts of the vault.
It should be around here. Look, there it is.
As expected, Lady Maya. Now, let's take the money and goods.
But at that moment, an angry shout rang out from behind them.
Who goes there, thieves?
Turning around in surprise, they saw the figures of enraged monks. They immediately rushed to attack Maya and the others.
Damn, we've been found. If it's come to this, we'll use force.
As Chakra violently confronted the monks, Maya was bewildered.
Why am I doing this? Did I really want to be complicit in this theft?
Even as she hesitated, the monks closed in on Maya.
You are just as guilty. You must be prepared.
With those cold words, Maya was seized. With no means to resist, she was tied with rope and pushed face down on the ground. In Maya's crying heart, the Buddha's words filled with loving kindness resurfaced.
Ah, world-honored one, I have committed a grave mistake.
Tormented by feelings of regret, Maya sank into the depths of despair. Thus, Maya became a prisoner due to the crimes she herself had invited. Her complicity in the theft was exposed, and no path to salvation remained for her. A heart shrouded in ignorance, consumed by the flames of desire. The Buddha quietly continued to watch over Maya, who was sinking into the depths of despair, single-mindedly praying for her heart to reach enlightenment. Maya was imprisoned in jail, crushed by the weight of her own sins. Her numerous misdeeds had accumulated to the point where she could no longer atone for them.
I am a being beyond salvation.
Before Maya, who was sinking into the depths of despair, a strange scene suddenly unfolded.
What is this?
Before her eyes, the real world distorted, and a fearsome prison gate appeared.
Welcome, foolish girl drowning in desire.
The figure of the gatekeeper illuminated by the hellfire. In his hand, he held the record of Maya's sins.
Your punishment has been decided. Fall into the hellfire and suffer for eternity.
No, I don't want that!
Maya's body, screaming, was mercilessly dragged towards the gates of hell. The sea of raging red flames of karmic fire flickered fiercely, as if to burn away her sins.
Ah, world-honored one, save me.
Entrusting her final hope, Maya called the Buddha's name. But the voice of compassion no longer reached her.
Foolish girl, no hand of salvation will be extended to you. Receive the retribution for choosing desire and accumulating sins.
With those merciless words of rebuke, Maya's body was thrown into the karmic flames.
Wah!
Maya's scream echoed in the void at the searing pain. Her sin-stained soul would be tormented by the hellfire for eternity. Consumed by the flames of desire, even if she sought salvation, no one would extend a hand to her anymore.
As
her consciousness faded, Maya recalled her encounter with the Buddha.
World-honored one, I ignored your teachings and lived as my desires led. I repent. Please, may this soul someday be saved.
Grimacing in pain, Maya engraved her remorse in her heart. But that too was fleeting, and her consciousness sank into the depths of darkness. Thus Maya received the retribution for the crimes she herself had invited and fell into the hellfire. Will her soul, consumed by the flames of desire, be able to meet the time of purification?
Maya, your suffering is engraved in my heart.
From the monastery far away, the Buddha turned his gaze.
May your soul, closed off by ignorance, someday regain the light. After countless cycles of rebirth, the time of liberation will surely come.
The Buddha offered a prayer of compassion. He had no doubt that Maya would attain enlightenment at the end of her long sufferings.
Farewell, Maya, and let us meet again in the next cycle of rebirth to walk the path of purification together.
With eyes filled with sorrow, the Buddha continued to watch over Maya's soul. Even if she were in the depths of hell, his loving kindness would never abandon her. In the far distant future, the time when Maya, having gone through rebirth and taken on a new life, awakens to the path of enlightenment. Perhaps there, a reunion with the Buddha is promised someday. This story depicts the end of a life imprisoned by desire and ignorance. The protagonist, Maya, was driven by a thirst for wealth and power and lost sight of the truth. Her lessons are as follows. First, a life dominated by desire brings only suffering and regret. Second, even if one pursues material wealth and status, true happiness cannot be obtained. Third, if one does not reflect on one's actions and accumulate sins, retribution will surely be received. Fourth, the path to enlightenment and liberation begins with a heart of compassion and reflection. Fifth, even if mistakes are made, if there is a heart of repentance and learning, the possibility of salvation remains. Maya's story appeals to the dangers of desire and ignorance, while also suggesting the Buddha's compassion and the possibility of human rehabilitation. Her story of suffering will give us an opportunity for deep reflection and learning.